surprise privilege.
Oh, what are you doing up? Can't sleep, huh? Ah, you've got bugs under your skin and can't get them out, huh? Oh, okay, very cool. Well, in that case, I'll read you a story. My favorite book to read when I'm getting bugs out of my skin. Horny in Space. Have a seat. Once upon a time, there was an evil wizard named Shithead. Shithead was the last organism on Earth, as he had decimated the entirety of living things with his powers. But Shithead was a horny fucker. His lust for power didn't stop at the complete annihilation of Earth, but he had now set his sights on the moon and its colonies. For alas, the voices formally invited him there, and who is he to question the almighty commands of God and his angels of reason? So Shithead promptly fucked off right to the moon to stick his little wizard wee-wee in her craters. Upon arrival at the fabled lunar sea of dunes, Shithead realized he forgot the perks. "Piss in my ass!" he shouted as he began brewing a fine cup of chamomile tea, as he often did when experiencing intense anguish. The kettle began to whistle and he reached out to grab it, but he burned his hand really, really bad. He stuck his hand up his ass as far as he could to cool his burns within his magical freezer colon. But the moon men saw him and strung him up on a tree. Upon being strung up on the tree, Shithead's balls began to ache and lust for a little scratch. He begged his captors to relieve his itch, but they all laughed instead as his balls began to swell, as all wizard balls do when they're itchy. He lusted for his sweaty and slimy ballsack to be fondled and itched by his captors to no avail. As his scrumptious little nuts continued to swell, their size began to increase to that of one of those stupid fucking yoga bowls. The moon men's jaws dropped as they gazed upon Shithead's now truly hung sack, the hairs on which began to twist like tentacles. After marveling at such a sight, Shithead's captors agreed to itch his nuts on the condition that they expel the mysterious contents of the swollen testes, like a Dr. Pimple Popper video. Shithead agreed, but his ballsack had swollen and stretched till his scrotes could no longer hold the load. The skin was so thin that you could see the contents inside. But the dune dwellers paid no mind. They had been starved by the upper class, only left with debris and rotting trash to scavenge through and pick apart to satisfy their never-ending hunger. As soon as they stuck their straws into Shithead's balls, they burst open, covering everyone within a mile radius in a sticky, icky substance that smelled of salad and sandals. The smell became so rancid that the dune dwellers began developing massive erections, which caused them to fall to their knees. They writhed in pain from the horrid odor before simultaneously spontaneously combusting, leaving Shithead dangling from the tree with a burst scrotum. Shithead then realized there was no one around to untie him from the tree, so he began to utter the only spell he could think of, a spell he knew well. He recited the familiar incantation, "Penis, penis, in the tree, get me off and set me free." The spell prompted him to manifest the most disgusting boner and ejaculate chunks of blood and scrotum to lubricate his binds and free him from his trap. Shithead then did what he did best. He started jacking off while humming a sacred healing song, mending his burst scrotum. At that time, the guardians of Moon City, the capital of the moon, were fast approaching, wading through the sticky residue that surrounded Shithead. However, when they saw the sheer speed at which Shithead could fap, they ran, hid, and cowered in fear as his wizard balls grew to devastating sizes once more, blocking out all light sources, leaving them unable to see. In a flash of milky white, Shithead released an unholy amount of wizard juice from his pee-pee. This time aiming at Moon City, he completely drained his gargantuan nuts, and by the time they shrunk in size enough for the Moon Guardians to see properly, a jet stream of Shithead's spunk was beelining its way towards Moon City's nuclear weapons facility. Before any of the Moon citizens could react, shit got blasted up real quick. Nuclear hellfire swept across the moon's surface, decimating hundreds of thousands of innocents within seconds. After relishing in his latest genocide, Shithead discovered a single survivor, the King of the Moon. The king, also being a wizard, had used all of his magical strength trying to protect his people and was horribly fatigued, dying from severe burns and radiation. "Why have you done this?" he asked Shithead. "Down the drain it goes," replied Shithead, and he cast a love spell upon his final victim before passionately making out with the Moon King until His Majesty's final breath was quite literally stolen. Shithead had conquered the moon and annihilated all of its inhabitants. He had turned the once dazzling moonscape into a literal hellhole, and all without the help from his perks. Feeling quite literally drained, he lay down in a congealed puddle of his own make and gazed unblinking at the stars above. Why did Shithead commit such transgressions? Because he's an evil wizard. It's simply in his nature. What else did you expect? The end. So, did you enjoy the story? What's that? You weren't listening. Oh, you want me to exit your house? Fucking little shit.